Hey, Omega Chicago Cycling Network. And for all the people who have been in Chicago for a long time on bike with different groups and stuff, you have seen him. When I met him before, we were riding in blue, and then we went to purple. We're going to get into all that stuff.
Are you talking about moods, or are you talking about uniforms?
Not yet.
Sorry.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much, everybody who's been subscribing, supporting the channel, coming on talking about, their experience in Chicago. And again, it's people like you who have come on this channel, and there's still many other people who haven't talked to us yet that make Chicago a beautiful place to cycle in. Because again, we have people from all different backgrounds, shapes, size, and this is why Chicago is an awesome place. Okay, the person I'm with today, he goes by the name FatherTim. Tim, not Tim. See, I'm overcompensating because I'm Jamaican. So that's right. FatherTim. Okay. And he's going to give his name and everything. We're going to get into all of his, his background and why having him in Chicago is, we're blessed. We're very fortunate to have someone like Tim, FatherTim in the network, because he's really trying to, he's been bringing different people from different speeds, background together on their ride. And I've seen them evolve. And that name will make sense eventually as we progress and go through. But no, I mean, we're truly blessed to have been network, because you have actually bring a lot of people together. You have really fathered us a lot, as your name say. But I was thinking to myself, if I ever bring my kids on a bike ride with us, I'm going to call it Grandfather Tim, because it's me's But so that's what we're going to do. But anyway, no, man, Chicago, we're blessed to have someone like FatherTim in the network. And again, I just can't just be more grateful to all the people who just come in Chicago, whether they're from here, they come from out of state, and they just fall into place, and they help everybody. They help us to become better person, better cyclists, better family person. I mean, you just can't beat that. I mean, and this is why I think Chicago, as I always say, is one of the most beautiful biking community I've ever been a part of. I mean, just start biking, but it's just amazing to see how, we go from just biking outside, then you develop relationship with people, and then afterward it just blossoms into something beautiful. And today we're going to get into all this stuff with FatherTim. He's going to introduce himself. We'll get to learn about him. And I mean, Chicago, beautiful, 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 beautiful place. I really hope if you come from out of state and come to Chicago or out of the country, please come to Chicago and cycle us. You can find whatever style of riding you like. Again, I will say before, is on ChicagoGroupRides.com. You can find the different groups, the different days. For some other ones, that's not even there on the website, but it's all there. ChicagoGroupRides.com. And you can see all the rides. You can find your flavor, your type of people, whether you're weird, not weird. Chicago, we have something for whether you're fast or slow, love mountain bike, gravel, you go to Palos, something is here for you. Okay, so anyway, we're getting into all this stuff. So please, FatherTim, introduce yourself, and let's get the ball rolling.
Thank you. You said so much there. First of all, I'm humbled and honored to be here.
Thank you.
You use FatherTim, you use blessed. I feel like I'm in church. Bing Crosby's going to show up and be FatherTim in my movie. Also, you talked about inviting people to Chicago. Like, I was looking around, all your bikes, you have a bunch of bikes around. And I have a bunch of bikes in my basement. We could start up you come, call us up, we'll get you a bike.
Yes.
We'll hook you up.
If you're 58, I got you.
No, unfortunately, we're both 58. So,
yeah.
But a little bit about me. Yeah, my name's Tim O'Malley. I've been in Chicago roughly 30 some years. I moved here in 96. Philadelphia area native. So I grew up in the Philadelphia area. Initially a runner back in the days.
Huh.
I was pretty decent as a runner. But I started to develop aches, weird foot injury, and I was getting all these tests done on it. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was at the point where I was thinking of moving to Colorado to train, because that may be an outside shot of making the Olympic trials, right, in the marathon. And it just didn't happen. And at the time, this was Greg LeMond was doing real well in cycling. All right, so I'm like, well, let me try this bike thing. So I went out and I started doing some duathlons, which actually were called biathlons in the day. But then they didn't want to get mixed up with the snow versions.
Yeah, got you.
So I do the run. I'd be like, top 10 on the run, and I'd hop on the bike and just, I was like pedaling in sand. People were just flying by me. And then I'd get back on the run and I'd catch a bunch back up, but I couldn't get near the front again. So I said, well, let me just take a year off from running, right? Let me just try and figure this cycling thing out. And I think it may have been like first version of Specialized LA. And it was down tube shifting, probably 7 speeds in the back. Matter of fact, my first version had toe clips, which for those of you...
That means you go way back.
Yeah. So for those of you who freak out when you first do clipless pedals thinking you're going to fall over at a stop sign, try it with toe clips, where you have to like pull your strap, loosen your strap, pull your foot out. It's real fun. So that's way back when. That's how I got started. And then turned out once I started riding that I just love cycling. So fast forward a little bit, probably around 96, I decided it's time for a little bit of change in my life and got a job offer out here in Chicago. So I moved out here. In the meantime, I bike raced for a bit. Did that. I kind of moved back into running a little bit. And I trained with a woman in Philly. Her name was Kate Fonchelle. She won the 10,000 meter Olympic trials for the U.S. in 96.
That's legit.
Yeah, and then that was the year I was in Atlanta. All right, so I went down and I wanted to watch the finals with her, watch her in the finals. She had knocked out in the heats, or 2 heats, and it was Atlanta. So the first heat went, and she was in the first heat, and it was hot and humid. The thunderstorm comes in, blows the humidity out. Second heat, fastest heat, she was missed by 2 spots. Okay? So I went down for the finals, and her and I just sat in the stands and watched the finals. So for those of you who are track and field fans, her and I got to watch Jackie Joyner-Kersee win the triple jump, I think, that day. It was pretty neat. It was pretty fun. So right after that, I moved out here and kind of dabbled a little bit in riding, was running, not really too seriously. Probably around 97, 98, I found the Judson ride, which is currently the Lighthouse ride.
So you've been on Judson.
Yeah. We used to meet at Judson and Greenleaf. And I'd roll up there. You know this, but I'm not super timely. The Judson now Lighthouse is very timely, right? So if the ride starts 7:30, it's 7:30. I'd roll up at 7:30. You're like,
gotta chase them.
Yeah, chase them down. And I remember my first one, I had no idea where I was. Like, I'd never really ridden up here. And I'm on the back. The guys would get dropped. My darn, night close gap, because I didn't want to get lost out St. Mary's Road somewhere. So that was kind of my introduction here. And I never did a ton. That was the only group rides I did. I didn't really meet a ton of people. Moved out to Seattle. You're getting a long life story here.
Yeah, we want to get to know you. We want to get to know you. So I'm listening and come back and loop back as some questions.
You have to write all this shit down.
So yeah. Philly, Chicago, Seattle.
Around 2003, I moved out to Seattle. And then I met up with a group and started racing again, right out in Seattle. So
this is running.
No. This was bike racing. So I started bike racing in Philly, like 1990. And I got with a team called Bicycle Therapy, which shop still exists on South Street.
So this racing, was this crits or road racing?
I was more of a road racer. I mean, I was probably 29, 30 when I started. And it's tough to jump right into crits. But luckily back then, like Philly, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, New York, there were road races all the time. Right? So you could go do a 50 to an 80 mile road race. I did a pro 1, 2, 300 mile road race in the Catskill Mountains in New York. I say I entered the road race. I finished the road race. I think I was with them for about 45 miles, but it was like a time trial the first day. It was kind of a stage race. And the second day, and the local pro teams were like East Coast pro teams. And first 25 miles of the road race, my tongue is on my top trim. I'm like, oh my God, are we doing this for 100 miles? And we get to about 25 miles and everybody sits up. You start drinking, taking a leak. I'm like, what just happened?
Thinning the herd, that's what it's called, right?
Well, this pays to read the race Bible ahead of time. There was a sprint point that had bonus seconds. And the top teams were so close up front that they were killing it to the sprint. Once we hit the sprint, everybody eased up. But then we were in the Catskill Mountains and then the climbing started. Right, first climb, I'm like hanging. I'm like, this is bad. I think I can get over with the lead group. And we get into the top. And I'm thinking, we got to be close. all of a sudden we hit a gravel road, right? And there's some road bikes in the next half mile plus.
Gravel, but then you guys were riding about 19s or something like that?
Probably 21s.
21s.
Yeah.
And gravel?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, see, so the rest of the race, I'm like just on my own, small groups. I remember the last climb, it was taking forever, right? And I'm winding around. There's people on the side of the road, they're cheering, yeah. And I'm like, how much further to the top? They're like, 1 more mile. I'm like, no, to the top. Like, 1 more mile. I'm like, oh. So I raced a bunch in Philly, and around, I focused a little bit more on career after a couple of years of that, right? And that's when I got back into running a little bit more. That's when I met my friend Kate and started. So when I came back out here, I was mixing them. And then when I got to Seattle, I met a strong group of riders and just started riding with them. And we started racing. So I was doing a lot of Masters and Cat 3 races. So I did that for a couple of years, ran into some health problems, moved back here, and was kind of retired. I'm like, I'm done with this.
You're done with biking and running.
I run a little bit, stuff's starting to ache. I'm like, I'll just mellow my way through life, especially the athletic side of life. And then I started, I'd show it because at this point in my life, like I rode more for hanging out with people, not for, can I PR, right? It's more just about like, hey, it's a group of people going, we can talk, we can have beer afterwards. So I asked around, like, hey, where's a decent group ride? And I was directed to the Triple X ride.
Oh, so you go all the way back to Triple X?
Yeah.
I didn't, wow.
So I'd be doing Triple X rides on Saturday. And, for me, especially with the new group, I'm just hanging at the back, right? So you get a feel for things. So I'd ride at the back of the Triple X ride and talk to folks at the back. And I would meet a lot of the other non-Triple Xers, but then we get up to Highland Park, and anybody's done the Triple X ride knows that at Highland Park, everybody stops for a coffee. Well, at my age, when I stop, like everything starts to shut down. And I'm like, I can't stop for 15 minutes. So I do a little 2-mile loop, and I convince all these other guys to ride with me. And at the time, there wasn't a Sunday ride. Like there wasn't really a good Sunday ride in Chicago. And this is, I'm going to say 2010, 11, 12, right around there. So Johnny Sprockets was doing a little ride out of their place. And when I say little, it was kind of little, like a 25 mile, 30 mile with a couple sprints. So we were trying to figure out a new ride. And then the Sprockets changed buildings up here. It ended up on Clark Street because they were on Bryn Mawr, moved over to Clark. And Gene Bruber ended up being the manager there. And Gene's like, oh, I'll lead the rides, right? Well, Manuel, the owner, used to lead the rides. And they were mellow, right? They're 18 miles an hour and then sprint, and 18 miles an hour. First day Gene's ride, all the regulars show up. Gene takes this thing at like 22 to 25.
People were complaining.
Oh my God. And we used to joke about Gene speed dating, right? Because Gene would just sit at the front, like hammer along, and someone would sit next to him. They talked to Gene for a little bit. Gene's more of a quiet guy. Gene would throw out one word or two. And then the person next to him would just be like, all right, I'm done. And pull off. And the next guy would roll up. And then he'd talk to Gene for a little bit. Then he'd roll off. And Gene would stay at the front. So there was the main secret, if you were tired, is just stay behind Gene. Because if you're in the other line, you're always rotating up and pulling with Gene. But it whittled the group down.
So this explained why, because I've been back with Gene a couple of times, and it explained to him why he's so strong. Because I know nothing about the people that go all the way back in Chicago. So now it explains when Gene rode why he was so strong. It's like just a machine.
He only knew one-way ride. And it was hard. Okay? It was hard. And that was great, but we had to learn to adjust because it was, Gene was running the ride. And at the time, I started being the one who collected everybody's names, right? So whoever showed up, especially when winter hit, right? Because in the summer, people just roll up to a ride. But in the winter, it's like, all right, who's going out today? Right? So I had a list, and with the phone I had, it could only do 10 people on distribution. So I had to have an A and a B list. I was like 10, like, oh shoot, I need another list, right? So we had about 20 people. And I would just send out messages like, who's riding today? Who's riding today? And we'd get a few people out and we'd ride. So around 2018, 2010, we started talking like, hey, let's form a squad. Because we're all showing up. Right? So a group of us got together and formed the Johnny Sprockets team.
So again, thank you for this history, because now I'm kind of seeing how everything kind of evolved over the years. But I got many questions. But yeah, keep on going.
Well, and it does have that thread like from Triple X because that's where we kind of met. Like again, the folks were at the back, and so then we had this big back and forth around the folks who founded it. Like, and Matt Bieber was one who's really involved. Kevin Rothman, I'm names some people might know. Eric Yang, who's now in California. Chris Martinez was part of that. So we kind of pulled this together, and we had this big conversation like, when should our ride be? All right, Saturday or Sunday? And we decided like, all right, let's do it Sunday. But then the question was, all right, do we do the same route or do we change? So we ended up settling on, all right, we'll have a steady Sunday ride, basically the same route. All right. And I'm somebody who, having done this for years, there's only so many times I can go up a high after about 1,000 times.
Yes.
So I was always advocating for, let's try this. Let's try it. And we're saying, no, let's keep going.
So this is why the Saturday ride is the way it is now.
So, right. So we evolved, right? So we decided, all right, Sunday's our main ride. All right, but let's also have a Saturday ride for whoever wants to go. We don't really advertise it quite as much, but if you show up, you're going. And then every week we go a different direction, right? Because of that, right? Because I like to explore. I like to see different spots. And then we have a Thursday night ride, which because Spiteful Brewing is pretty close to Sprockets where we start roughly, we said, hey, let's do that ride. And we would have a Thursday night. We'd end up at Spiteful and have a couple beers. Luckily, it closes at 9, so we get kicked out earlier. Unlike the Wednesday night parking lot, which never closes.
Yeah. I'm a closer because it's only like 2 blocks.
Yeah, because you can roll. Yeah. So that's the backstory. And then we formed. We have this now steady routine. We go to Tucson every year in March for training camp. All right, so we form the Sprockets team. Off we go to Tucson. We come back. Everybody's messed up. World shuts down, and now our whole team that we would just work, train, we're gonna show up at races, and it's gone. So we had to figure out like how do you keep. And at the time we had 18 people. Like how do you keep 18 people energized and connected? And we did some interesting things. Like we had a who could spend the most time on a bike challenge, and it was spread out over 9 days.
And this was local.
Like whoever was on the team, like so for 18 people on the team, it's like, all right, which of us 18 can spend the most time on a bike in 9 days, indoors, outdoors, whatever it is. I ended up getting second, 34 hours on a bike in 9 days. Whew. And you, as someone who rides like 7 days of 100 miles, that's not easy. Yeah. Luckily, because it was pandemic, like I'd roll out my significant other, she lives 3 miles, 4 miles away. I take the longest route. Like I take 12, 14 miles to get there.
You take a long 3 miles.
And then, all right, I'm going to head back to my place because that's where my trainer was. I'd ride like 18 miles back to my place, hop on a trainer, ride. And there's this other guy on our team, Lath.
What year was this?
This is 2020.
Okay, so
like
it's
2020.
Like pandemic.
Yeah, everything shut down. So another guy, we're at Lath, who's now out in Colorado. Him and I were now going back and forth. And Lath is a late night rider, and I'm more of an early morning rider. So I'd ride, I get 2 hours ahead of Lath. And at 10 o'clock at night, he'd hop on. And he was trolling me on Strava. Like as soon as I'd finish a ride and step off, I'd get his thumbs up. I'm like, yeah.
Again, I met you guys like in 2020 about pandemic time, just I remember. And I remember you and Lath always been posting things on Strava. Like, I didn't know this was what going on. Because I wasn't officially in the group as yet, so I didn't.
Yeah, and we were going back, and it got to last day, and I couldn't pedal. I rode 2-3 hours that day. I couldn't pedal, and I was maybe hour and a half ahead of him, and I couldn't pedal anymore. I knew he was going to get a bike. So I start sending him Rocky gifts, like a Rocky running up the steps, and I'm I'm trying to make him think I'm still training. He ended up beating me by 2. He did 36 hours in 9 days. He said he had to do the last ride in tennis shoes because his feet were so swollen. Wow. He couldn't fit them in.
Good job, Lath.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lath props. And the winner, and because Hop Leaf was one of our sponsors at the time, we bought a bunch of beer from Hop Leaf. And the top 3 people got beer from Hop Leaf.
That's a cool challenge, actually. I like that challenge.
Well, the other one was, who could climb the most? And we said it like a 1 week period, but it was only a 1 day, right? Who could climb the most feet in 1 day? But you had to leave from your house in Chicago. Like you couldn't drive up to Wisconsin or something.
Where are you gonna go?
So Matt Bieber wins it by going to the boat ramp on Tower Road.
Let's keep on going up and down.
About 20 plus times. He did, and I think he got 2,200 feet. I may have been top there. I got like 1,500. I looked on Strava every single incline. And I go and do it 3 or 4 times, and I go to the next one. But it was springtime, so you didn't have a ton of daylight, and to get to a hill is 20 miles. So then you're like, I gotta get home. Yeah, it was tough.
Wow, that's just, man, cool stories that I learned. But we're gonna back up because I think you said it and it kind of like flew over. Maybe if you're watching, got this far, it might flew over your head. But you said you used to be a runner and you were training for the Olympics or trying to qualify.
I'm gonna take the trials.
The trials for the Olympic trials.
Different than it would have been just
what event were you running? And then okay, so let's go to so people can understand like how cool your badass he is. Like what was you know, he's FatherTim now. Okay, so
I'm old,
but he did some really cool things.
Yeah.
So what was your event for running?
So probably the event I was best at was probably 5,000.
Okay, so 5K.
Yeah.
3.1 mile.
Yeah.
And then what times were you putting up back in the days?
So my best was 15 flat.
Jesus. Does anybody know what pace that is? That's like a 440, 450
maybe
something. 450 change.
I don't know.
Many people can't run 1 mile that fast. And you were doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I used to live out by Villanova University, right? And Villanova is a big running school.
It's a good football school, right?
No, it's like a Division II.
Because I've heard the name before in football.
Yeah, I mean, they may have done well in like the second level championships at times, but they're actually they've won the basketball tournament.
Basketball. That's what I know for basketball, not track.
I'm gonna get in trouble with my family members from Villanova. So I think they've won the NCAA a couple times. If you ever want to watch a fantastic 86, I think, they upset Georgetown, had Patrick Ewing. I think they shot like 80%. I mean, they hit everything. It was an amazing game, and they were expected to lose by a bunch. Anyway, so at the time, Villanova, they used to recruit a lot of guys from Ireland. Right? There's a guy named Eamon Coughlin who was before my time, but while I was there, they had recruited 5 guys from Ireland whose names all began with O.
So I'd have got recruited.
So
Omar.
Yeah, exactly. No, last name. It was like O'Sullivan, O'Reilly, O'Keefe. Is there a second O'Reilly? And
O'Malley.
No. But these are like I would show up. Like, one day I went to the indoor track to do a workout, and there were 7 sub 4 minute milers there. And I'm looking around like, why am I bothering with this? Like, so I was like in this space where, you know, when you throw out times, it's like, yes, if I go to local road race, I was running well. But like if one of those guys would show up, I'd be like, and it was neat though, because they're good guys and I trained with them a lot.
So at what age did you start like running?
So I ran in high school.
Okay.
I ran
cross country and all the different.
5th through 9th grade, I played football. And I was a lineman. In high school, I was about 5'6".
Were you like what, 6'2", 6'1"?
About 6'1" now.
Yeah.
And I was playing center. It wasn't meant to be. So I'm like, I'm done. And my dad said, he goes, yeah, great. You got to play a sport. I'm like, and he goes, oh, and golf's not a sport. Because I think I caddied the summer before or something. Golf. I said, all right. So I went out for cross country. And first race is 3 miles. I think that I'd run 2.5 before at one point. But I'm coming out of the woods and I'm catching up to one of the seniors on the team. Oh. So I ended up like really loving cross country and got into cross country, got into track. Did that through high school, went to college, dropped all that, played a lot of basketball, not formally, informally. And then when I got out, started running again.
So if you're in a marathon, half marathon?
So I've never, so this is the funny part. I thought I could qualify for the trials in the marathon. At the time, qualifying was like 2:20, right?
That's fast.
Yeah. And the reason I thought that is because I had run a 1:10.
You're in a 1:10 half?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And kind of missed the start because I was in the bathroom. But caught up a little bit. And then I'm like, well, if I focus on this, right, that would probably be my only shot to make Olympic trials. Because the time for 5,000, time for 10,000 was just unattainable. But the volume it would have taken was starting to break me down. So,
yeah, it's like when I was talking to Henry Lutz, and he was like, "Man, I could have gone pro," but he says like I put in like 25 hours a week for training, but he says I just couldn't get it like 1-2% just go to the pro. I just couldn't get it. So some people would just get to a max, and no matter what you do, that's it.
Well, so, there was like it wasn't the science that we have now either.
True,
right? Because there's not a ton about
yes, right. So back then, were you guys like really focused on like nutrition and electrolytes? And...
If I would do a 10K, I wouldn't drink.
That's it.
I'd do like a 32-minute 10K and not even grab a couple of, like maybe if it was really hot, do a sip of water because I couldn't. So it's just.
And then you didn't know anything about like risk prepping, like your carbs and all those different things. No.
Get some sleep.
Wow. We've come a long way sport wise. So you've been running almost all your life. Then you realize, oh, maybe I could become a cyclist. So you pick up cycling and you're biking with Justin back in 1990 when you.
Yeah, 90s. So probably 1988, 1989. I started in, and because I enjoy competing, I'll go to local bike stores. Hey, is there any fast rides around? Outside of Philly, there's this little town called Malvern. They have a corporate campus. It's a little bit like LaBas Woods here for those of you who've done practice crits. But it's a 1 mile loop where you don't really have to turn, right? Because it's gentle turns and there's a small little climb. And what they would do, it was every Thursday night. And what they would do there is every 3 laps was a sprint lap. And the fun of that was if you weren't a sprinter, you could attack. So if you were a sprinter, like you wanted to stay together, so you could sprint that. But if you weren't, you would try and get a breakaway and hold off like 3-6 miles and steal some points that way. At the end of the night, you kind of figure out like who won. Everybody have a beer. So that was my first start. And I remember going to my first one and just talking to guys in the parking lot afterwards. I'm like, was I okay out there? Like, did I almost kill anybody? Did I do anything stupid? And some of the guys were triathletes and they knew me from running. And they're like, hey, I know you.
So were you used to use helmet back then or just like a regular?
So you did. So in the pros, you didn't, right? So helmet rule was like up until pro, you had to wear a helmet, like any USCF race or USAC race, you had to wear a helmet. But when you got to pros, you didn't. And that was the era that the pros were trying to figure out what to do because there were guys dying, smacking their heads. So then they had this rule, like you have to wear a helmet unless it finishes on a climb in the last 5K, and then you could take your helmet off.
I had no idea about this.
Oh yeah, so there were guys, their domestiques would hang to the bottom of the climb and everybody take their helmet off and hand them to the domestique or throw them in the car, and they'd ride to the top of the climb without their helmets on. And that lasted for maybe 2 years, and they're like,
just keep it on.
Helmet, yeah.
Wow. You're schooling me in all these different things I had no idea about. So then, okay, so runner, I guess you bring all of your running endurance fitness to biking.
Yeah.
And now, so I had no idea you did Jetson back in the day. So you go, so who are some of the guys you remember from Jetson that you probably still remember? Really when Andy Spatz was around?
I never really talked to anybody. It was like, what the warm-up was? It was 2 miles.
You guys did the Facebook each other and stuff like that?
We'd pass notes. Paper, we'd handwrite them, pass them out.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet and we would do it Saturday and Sunday, right? So it's just 2 days hard. But like I get done and I live north side of Chicago, so I just finish and ride home. Right? There wasn't there
was no socializing after Judson back in the days. Probably still now staying anyway, but
yeah, right. So and ride, you take some pulls, ride hard, you get back to the finish, and then just roll right home.
Huh.
So yeah, it wasn't that social. I think the Chicago scene now is much more social. And I don't even think,
You can't beat Chicago scene right now. When it comes to social and all the different groups around town, so many groups now. You can't beat it.
I don't even know like what teams there were back then. Like I think CCC was still probably the big team, but I couldn't tell you.
Wow. Yeah. So you remember we used to biking with any female in Jetson back in the days? You remember any female? Because I know there's some like I think Sarah Dory used to be in Jetson, which I had no idea she rode a Jetson a long time ago.
I remember one or two, but again, I didn't really talk to anybody. So yeah, I mean, like Judson now, like Wednesday night, it was a hang on for dear life ride.
Yeah, I heard people say like Jason's different now because back then it's like literally a bunch of guys get together and to see who can drop, and that's it. If you drop, you drop, and if you don't, and but now it's much more. There's some dropping, but I think guys are much stronger. A lot of stronger guys in town now. Some people show up and they're out of their depths, but in general, the Judson ride is okay, and I don't do it as much because I've been in a few and it's just way too sketchy for me. I can't do sketch no more. I cannot.
Yeah. And again, like you're talking 98, 25 plus years ago, the traffic was less, people were less, right? The group size was a little less. Technology
was less,
right? So now like the effort to go 28 miles then is probably getting you 30 miles now. Right. So that makes everything a little bit, and like you said, I think there's more people now who stumbled into biking like pandemic time or where they haven't done a ton of roads and they don't really know that. Like when I started, you screw up and someone's going to yell at you hard. Right, you've ridden with me. I correct people.
He sure does.
I try not to curse.
That's what we call it, FatherTim. So yes, if you're being a twat waffle, you're gonna get yelled at.
There was a lot of hold your effing line. Yeah, as soon as okay. So you would learn pretty quick. And they didn't suffer fools because again, same as today. You don't want someone taking you down.
Of course, I mean, you've met me when I got taken down by my bike wheel because we merged with you guys once biking, and we went in the Carmack Sprint, and I hit the gas, and my turbo cotton wheel, the rubber came off the cotton, and I went down.
I think you would have been fine if Dave wouldn't have landed on you.
I know, but
I'm blaming Dave.
Well, I was okay, but
sorry, Dave.
He broke his collarbone and couldn't go on vacation again Saturday. But yeah, that was scary. And since then, no more turbo cotton for me because I did not expect that. I had no idea that could be something that could happen. Yeah. Look at my wheel, and the rubber is like separated from.
Well, again, like I said, like speeds are just a little quicker too.
Yeah.
Right. So your ability to recover your reaction time is just that touch shorter than it was, and
yeah. So. You rode a Triple X, didn't know that Judson Triple X, Johnny Sprocket. And so who are you riding with now?
So now we have a team called Evolution. It's a black t-shirt, but we are a purple team. Some of you may see us out there on the roads.
That was the blue purple. So initially Johnny Sprocket was a blue jersey and then Evolution now is purple. So that was a blue purple joke, by the way.
Shout out to Paul Sedan for his great design work. So now I ride with them and it's a pretty fun team right now. You're part of it. Like we have this nice mix. One of the things I really enjoy about Chicago is the diversity of Chicago, right? And I think our team reflects that, right? I think at one point we may even have more now. We have 14 different countries represented, right? So people just born all around the world, sharing a passion for cycling. We try and create a space where everybody can show up and ride different rides, and we try and mix a little bit for everybody. I mean, I'm kind of the belief, like if you're on a group ride, you're not going to have a perfect ride, but you can have a good ride.
Yeah. So as you get to that, could you give a little background about Evolution, what you guys do with Daisy Ride on, so people can, if you guys want to join, because I guess you're always looking for.
Yeah. I mean, our rides are open, right? Our rides are open to anybody. We have 3 days we do formal rides. Right, we have a Discord channel and we throw informal rides together too. Like if someone says, "Hey, it's Tuesday, I'm off at work, anybody want to go?" And someone says, "Oh, I'm free." you go. But Thursday night is a slow/steady ride, anywhere from 2, I think, to 15 people will show up. I say 2 because you and I did one of those one night.
Just you and I.
Like 98
And it was
degrees.
hot.
Oh, jeez. We should have cut that one short. Just got straight to the bar. That ride tends to be a little easier. I've tried to design the course so there are no well-known sprint points because it's not a sprint ride. It's just a steady ride. We get back. We have a couple beers. It's
That's
fun.
Spiteful.
That's Spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
The great part about Spiteful in the summer, they have a Radler. It's 2.7%. Goes great at the end of a hot
It's
ride.
like a meal.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
Yeah, it's very good. So that's Thursday night, and we've stopped it. Like once we lose light, we stop it. Right? So we stopped like 2 weeks ago, and then we have a Saturday ride. In the summer, it's at 7, and then as we lose daylight, as it gets colder in the morning, we start pushing back. So now we're at 8. Probably come December, we'll go at 9. That ride is usually a little longer and goes a different direction each week. So I kind of pick the direction. I think this week we're going out to Hinsdale. We got a loop around O'Hare. We got one up to Mundelein. We go up to Libertyville. We go out to Lamont. And so we can kind of move all around. It's kind of neat just to see different roads.
And I gotta lie, this is the evolution. Saturday ride is probably one of my favorite because it's never the same route. And I get to go place and see places I've never been before. And then sometimes I'm heading to visit my wife's family. And so I'm like, wait a minute. I wrote it.
This road looks familiar.
This way looks. I'm like, this is where I'm at.
What was that day you, me, Patrick, and Trevor?
Yeah.
That was that Mundelein route. I like that's a good. Yeah. And we're coming in, we're dead, and you're like, I want to get home. I'm like, oh, darn you. I'm like, I'll lead out for 10 feet.
But we didn't get it though. And to this day it stands. Like nobody have come close to it. So thank you.
We did have the good win that day. Yeah. So that's our Saturday ride. And there's so many Saturday rides that go on. I think the good part is we end up with roughly 4 to 12 people, right? And I'm kind of a believer of once you get above 12, it goes from being a group ride to riding with a group, right? And what I mean by that is when you're riding with a group, it's like folks are tagging along, folks are spread out across the road, folks like it's a lot more disorganized. When you're on a group ride, it's more organized. And I prefer our rides to be more organized, like trading pulls, keeping an eye on people. So that's why I like the Saturday ride is usually like roughly 10-ish, 8-ish people, and it's great. We just roll out and go. And then Sunday ride, right? Sunday's our big ride. We advertise that one. And in the summer, we've gotten up to about 40 people. So in order to keep the groups manageable, we'll now do like A, B, C rides, right? A ride being a drop ride as fast as you can. But even in that ride, we want to make it more of a team time trial and not a race. Because a lot, like you said, like midweek fast races, there are guys attacking, guys. There's not a steady, consistent, all right, let's roll this. And that's what we try and create, a little bit more of that steady, consistent pacing. And then we have a B ride, which is 22, 24, 25 miles an hour. And then the C ride, which is a little bit more beginner friendly, right, which tends to be 18 to 20 miles an hour. It's a no drop ride. Though once in a while, I do have to tell people they have to get in better shape to come out.
And you're right. And I when I came and I saw the C group, I really thought that was a brilliant idea because it encourages people that even though you might, because I've seen people shoot up on mountain bikes, but you want to tell them, hey, if you keep on coming and you learn these different things, you'll get better. You can move up to B eventually. Right. And you guys really help people because so many people have like good things to say about the Sunday ride because again, there's no drop, especially the B ride. And if there's a C ride and people just fall back with people and just help them and talk to them, give them pointers about, when you wear like a short socks or, like tire pressure.
Yeah.
And I think this is why because I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago, I was heading up north and I saw the B group coming and I was like, that's a lot of people. I was like amazed by how many people. Yeah. So you've really grown the Sunday ride. Like, hey, no matter what pace you are, if we need to split in a C group and we go at 16, 20, 18 miles an hour, come out. And I think this is something that you guys have actually done. And I think it's a really brilliant idea. I really like that.
Yeah. And that's something like in the C ride, I tend to lead that one. And I'll be like, all right, we're going to do continual pace line. People are like, what's that? Right. I'm like, we're going to show you.
Yeah.
Right? And then somebody will pull off and the next guy shoot through. I'm like, whoa, nope. No. You're going to go easy. So it's like, oh, I've never done this before. Right. I'm good. I said, this is the time to learn how to do this.
Right.
Because we were talking about this a little bit off camera. Like, I think people need to be three things on a bike, right? Strong, smooth, and safe. Right. And I think there are people who are strong, who
not
aren't
safe,
smooth and safe.
Yeah.
Right? And you get done right, you're like, gosh, that guy is strong. I never want to ride with him again, but he's strong. Like, I would prefer someone who's smooth and safe over someone who's strong because I'm going to stay up then. Right. And I just, that's what I want these people to do is as they get stronger, as they learn, I'm going to give you a couple pointers that are going to hopefully make you smoother in a group ride.
No, and again, the stronger, smoother, safe, from some of the groups I've biked before, like I literally had to earn some level of respect because, okay, Omar is strong, but is he safe and is he smooth? And I had to learn over time. Like now when I go on some of my group rides, I'm like, guys, this is the bike plan. We set a plan for the ride and we go on the ride and then people are doing what would literally the opposite of what we said. I'm like, did you guys not get the memo? We said it's going to be a smooth ride and people hammer. So when I go on those rides and people hammer now, I just move from the back and go to the front and just go in for that person and just slow down. No words, no yelling, no nothing. And then they're like, oh, okay.
No, so you're better. You're better. I have to yell.
No yelling. I'm notorious to do that. Especially at courtyard on Fridays and stuff. And like, this is the plan. We're not gonna sprint. There's no sprint. There's no dropping people. Friday is, and then like, if you want to ride fast, come to Cortada on a Tuesday or Thursday, and we're gonna hammer.
Right.
The Wednesday morning is going to be a very constant effort. No surgery. We're going to try to hold like 22, 24, but don't go above that. So we can keep the group together. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, every man for himself. We know that. And then Friday is like, if you can't hear the person behind you talking, you're going too fast.
Yeah, I love the talk test. And you know, a friend of ours, Connor Egan, talks. And I always say there's a Connor test. Like if you're in the front and you don't hear Connor talking, then pace is too fast. It's much too fast. Sorry, Connor. I'm going to say sorry to a lot of people, Dave, Connor.
Yeah, no, sorry. You guys know. You know if we call your name, is actually a compliment. Like that's what we're talking about. Yeah. So no, that's again. I'm really happy to see that. Evolution is just how many years old? Now is Evolution?
So 2. So we just finished our second year. I think we're roughly 50 to 60 people. It's a nice mix. I like the spread of people who are there. And again, the advantage of having a Thursday night ride, having rides that aren't festival time is that people interact.
Yes. We get to talk and learn about people. Like now, Adam is one of my favorite dudes now because I've actually talked to the guy. I'm like, I've never spoken to Evan as yet because he's a little bit more quiet.
Yeah.
But I like Adam. Adam is cool. I've spoken to Dad. I've spoken to Matt Matt Bieber and all these guys. And it's like Mike Collins, because we slow down, we can conversate.
Right. Like you're riding next to someone, you talk to them a little bit. We hang out at Misericordia at the end, and the A group waits for the B group, waits for the C group. Right. So there's a lot more interaction. So when you say you're on a team, like I've been on teams before where there's like a Cat 1-2 team and a Cat 4, and they don't know each other. Right?
Yeah. They ride and go home.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's like, look, there are times you need to ride next to someone, right? And I think luckily a lot of the folks on Evolution, we tell them that's who we are, right? We tell them that's part of it. And they do a nice job of getting to know each other and then finding connections. So that's the thing I enjoy about cycling because, it's not the easiest sport. Like we're out there, we're fighting cars, we're fighting weather. Yeah, we go down. I got doored earlier this year. I'm like,
oh my God.
How
did that work out? How was the bike?
I still gotta get fixed. Well,
which bike was it?
It was the S-Works.
No way.
Yeah. The open door caught my front fork, chipped the paint. I keep saying it's chipped paint, but I got to replace the fork. So now I have to find the specialized fork to replace the fork.
And it might depend on how old the bike is. It might even not.
Yeah, and it's rim brake. Yeah, it's rim brake forks. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But we had to deal with all this stuff, right? So to find that space where you can connect with the people in your world, right? And talk and commiserate, whether you are somebody who can hold 18 or someone can hold 28, right? Those moments where, oh, hey, yeah, I know so-and-so. and the person who goes 28, like there are things that the person who goes 18 is good at, knowledgeable at, that might be beneficial for you, right, outside of the cycling world, to make that connection on. So I hope that we enable that for a lot of people.
Yes, and I highly recommend Evolution, Fred. I'm not saying that because I'm talking to you and because I'm part of the team, but we got some really good people in Evolution. Okay, like from Chase to, I mean, I can call many names. Okay, because I know the guys from. Then Trevor, we miss you, by the way.
Yeah, Trev.
And Kabaki makes, that's his name. He makes beer.
Tabaki, yeah,
he makes beer.
Yeah.
What's the guy from Chicago that like bikes and stuff like that? I'm going blank.
Andre?
Is it Andre? No, not Andre. I'm looking at his face right now, but I kind of look like he's Asian. He has a little beard. You kind of remind me of Chris Martinez.
Beard.
I'm going blank on his name. Anyway, but you got like Paul. Yeah. Paul, I think Paul has the coolest last name.
Yeah.
Sedan. I mean, you can't have a cooler name like that. There's Michelle. Oh, can we not talk about like Mari? Like, come on. Like all these really just fun people. So Evolution, I recommend it. So what's one of your most memorable biking experience? If you have one, like what one is like and I was just blown away by this experience, like young, not crashing, not crashing.
Yeah, it can't include crashing. Yeah, that's memorable. It's not. I do have a crashing. I'll tell you a crashing story because it's kind of memorable. So 89, 90, 89 probably, right? So I had just come through a year. I'd moved like up to Cat 3. I was training in the winter and I was rollerblading. Like that was going to be part of my training because it's dark and you place around. So Christmas Day, I'm at my parents' house. My brother's there. He was running. He's going to go this 5-mile loop. My dad has to get my Christmas present, which was a radio for the car. He had to install it, so I'm working with him. My brother's impatient. I'm like, I'll catch up to you. So off I go, catching up to my brother, skating, and I catch the tip of my skate come down on my arm and break my arm. And of course, I'm like lying there in pain, hoping it's sprained. So I go home, my hand's like down like this, right?
It's just a sprain.
Like, what happened to you? I think I sprained my wrist. So I'm just gonna go to the hospital. It's Christmas Day, right? I'm just gonna go to the hospital and check out. Walk in, whoever's on the emergency day that day. I'm like, hey, I just need to get checked. I think I sprained it. They just started laughing at me. All right, so I broke it. I had to get surgery. I had to get plate put in. So this is Christmas. So now, and this is before smart trainer. So like I'm doing dumb trainer riding indoors, watching Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin talk through the 1990 Tour de France or something. And I'm trying to stay in shape. And I check up back in with my doctor, and this is like spring now. He said, it looks like it's healing okay. I said, hey, can I race my bike? He goes, yeah, you can ride your bike. I said, no. Can I race my bike? He goes, yeah, you can ride your bike.
You said race.
So I'm like, all right, fine. I hear that you can race. So I go up to Bear Mountain State Park outside New York, and this is a race I had finished second in the year before. I think it's a Cat 4, and I love the course. I gave us like 18-mile loop, staircase climb, screaming downhill into a 180 turn. And we did like 3 of those, and we ended up like on the staircase climb. So I'm coming up, and there's like 25, 30 guys in sprint. So I start sprinting. The guy on my left bumps into me a little bit. I lose a little space. The guy on the right hits me, and I go down. And the whole time I go down, I'm trying to hold my arm up, right? As I'm rolling around, and
you can't sprain your arm again.
Right. I'm holding, and I'm covered by 80% with road rash. So 2 days later, I have an appointment with the doctor. And I walk in, he's like, oh my God, what happened to you? I'm like, I was riding my bike. He's like, no more riding your bike. So that was pretty memorable. So the upside of that, it may have been like 92, 93. I got a chance to go over to the Tour de France.
That's pretty cool. So you've ridden your bike outside of the US.
Yeah. So the previous year, the team I was riding, we had a reciprocal deal with a team in Europe, and this one young guy, a really good rider, comes over and lives with me and my roommate for the summer. And he was funny. He was like 21, 22, and he's smoking. And he's drinking Mad Dog. For some reason, he liked Mad Dog. So this is really good wine. So he moved back, but once he moved back, like I can't ride. So a friend and I went over and met up with him and his family, and we saw a couple stages of the tour. And that's when Miguel Indurain was there, and Lauren Finley, like all these old guys. Like some of them are just kind of ending their careers, others were starting. So it gave us a chance to go and watch that. And then the days we weren't watching the stage, we would ride around, like in the Netherlands, and just so it's fun. So
Is that how you met? That's how you met your current girlfriend, or are you guys?
No.
Or that's where the fascination came from, because she's from
Lithuania.
Yeah.
But we met here. We met online through the dating sites.
Wow, look at you.
And for anybody who sees an Evolution jersey, there's a little Lithuanian flag on it because Viva is one of our sponsors.
That's a fun fact, guys. I knew this, but now you guys know.
I know, everybody's like, what's that flag? Which we will be at stop signs sometimes, and people will come up and honk, and some of the guys are ready to give them the finger. I'm like, no, hold on.
I've experienced that in coming in Hubbard, and then was honking, and then it's because of the flag on the back of the jersey. I remember. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I'll throw out my like 4 words of Lithuanian I know. Labas, for all you listening, Labas is hi. Labas. And Labas, and then we'll start speaking Lithuanian. I'm like,
calm down.
That's it.
That's pretty cool.
So that's how she ended up. But that trip to Europe was fun. Like, so fast forward to just before the pandemic, I guess. Friends of ours who lived behind me, the one guy was from Ireland, his wife was from North Carolina, but by way of New Jersey, but they decided they wanted to raise their kids in France. Right? So they had moved to France, and we're like, we're coming over to visit. And by the way, we're going to go watch this Paris-Roubaix thing. And they're like, okay.
So you've watched that?
So we went over, and my friend Porrick, him and his son, they said, hey, let's go. And we drove out to the Forest of Arenberg. And we kind of drove the course, which kind of like all the hay bales were up to keep it from crashing. Then we got into Arenberg, and you park, you walk in, and all the Belgians are drunk and singing, and get in. So it's kind of neat. The big challenge, though, especially with Viva, is it's like, where are the bathrooms at? Are the porta johns?
In the bushes.
They're like Forest of Arenberg. So lesson learned, bring toilet paper. So if you ever go to the Forest of Arenberg, bring your own toilet paper.
That's good advice, because maybe one day I'll do it, but that's good. Even today is the same culture. Bring your own TP.
Yeah,
okay. And don't be like Cornelio.
So that was pretty neat going over there.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. So we're here talking about bikes and everything. How many bikes do you have? In all these years of you biking, how many bikes do you have?
Currently, 8. Yeah.
So I guess you have gravel, mountain, road, 2 gravel bike.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
2 gravel.
Which is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Actually, the one I have here, which is called Trader, which the company no longer exists. The company was Trader. I think the bike is Crusader. I got it right before the pandemic, like $1,000 on eBay, used. It's steel. It's a 1x. It is great for the city.
Awesome.
Like I can ride it on a 60-mile ride. I can get it up. So 42 in front, so I can get up to 25, 26 fairly easily. But I can also lock it up, right, and leave it outside someplace for 3-4 hours. And I've got slicks on there now, but the streets of Chicago, especially in the winter, are like riding gravel. So
that's your outdoor.
Yeah, it's much more comfortable. For me to ride. So, and then I have, like you, as I look at your bike over your shoulder, you've got a bike just on the trainer.
That just sits there. That never comes off my trainer. It stays there. I rotate between this one and my S. As it says S-Twerks.
S-Twerks. Yes. So I have one on the trainer. I have a couple that I ride, but I'll ride for $5 a week, depending on the day.
It's a mix. It's a mix between disc and rim.
Yeah, I have a couple SRAMs, a couple Shimanos. So I'll be out riding, getting tired, and I'll start trying to shift, and I'm pressing the wrong thing.
You're like, wrong bike. Oh, sorry, this is not a button. Because I heard that the SRAM is a different combination of changing gears. I got my Specialized ride is my first Di2 bike I've ever had, and it's pretty awesome. Di2 is pretty good.
Unless you're wearing gloves. in the winter, because then you're you're like, wait,
am I touching the right place?
And then, like, I need to go easier. Nope, that's not going to be it.
Okay, so no riding my Di2. Plus, the battery will get drained in the cold, because I've seen people take the Di2 bike outside in the cold, and then they're like, my gears are shifting here because the cold mess up the battery and just drains them.
Yeah,
I think that happened to who was I riding with one time when that happened to them on the ride.
Trevor, we'll bring Trevor back in. It happened to Trevor once.
Maybe it was Trevor, and the battery was just
the
drained.
whole way home.
Yeah, we're stuck in one gear, and then that's it. Wow, it's pretty crazy. So what's the big plan for you this year for biking, whether it's with Evolution or with yourself? Any big plan, anything coming up?
God, you ask tough questions. I mean, so in a couple of weeks I turned 65. All right, so as some of the older people you've had on here may have already said, Dean, you don't count because you're superhuman. But stuff starts to break down, right? So I got achy knees, I got a funky heart. So I'm trying to see like what does it mean next? Like, what do I want to do? And do I have goals, right? Do I have goals, or is it just? And I joke because people give me grief that I ride a lot, but like that's what I need to do to at least minimally keep up, right? Some of these rides. So I think in some ways that's my goal. Is like, how do I keep up enough? But I still want to pull that edge up a little bit, right? To get some speed, and then I got to see how I can pull that off. Yeah. So I might get a little faster. I roughly have a 4-hour limit on a saddle.
Gotcha. I mean, thanks for saying these things, because these are things that I need to start thinking about, because I'm not too far behind you.
You're 20 years behind me, not too far. You're like a whole lifetime behind me. But I mean, it is like
you get there real quickly, like, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, what happened? Things are
right. And that's the other thing. Like if you have something happen in your life and you're off the bike for a year, right? Or if you get an injury, you're off, you just don't come back as fast.
Right.
And then you have to manage like the frustration that goes with that.
That was just about to mention, because you get frustrated because you're like, I used to could do this thing, and now here I am,
right,
struggling at like 18 miles.
Right,
I
should be there. Why can't? Right. Yeah.
Right. And then I have all these things in my basement, all these bikes and stuff, and I can't do nothing with them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my plan in life as I get older was, I was a runner, this hardcore runner, and I become a cyclist. And I told myself, the next thing after cycling, I'm going to weightlifting and bodybuilding in my old age, because I'll get to lift more weights and, keep myself together and still be doing something. And I told my wife, and that is my transition.
Yeah.
But I'll still be around people that are active, but it to be something I can manage.
Yeah. Because,
going on a ride and getting dropped, like, man, I used to keep up with you guys. I used to kick you guys' butt, and all of a sudden you're the one who's like strapping at the back, right. But I mean, again, it's a good thing you're saying these things, because we all have to think about these things.
Yeah.
And we just don't think about it. We're immortal for all of our lives. And then you get
it's an ego-driven sport in some ways, right?
Exactly.
And to keep doing it, it's like you said, like I need to give up on that ego sometimes, right? And like you said, there's somebody who's beating up a hill, or somebody said, like, oh, I used to do that with one leg. And you're like, no, let that go, right? It's why are you out here?
Right.
And you talk about me yelling sometimes to people. Like, I think part of what I add value sometimes is just holding community together, creating a little more structure to give newer people a chance to get their hooks into the sport, right? Because you show up at a group ride and they say, like, people say, oh, this is going to be an easy, steady group ride, and then it blows up, right? And you're like, why am I going to come back to that?
Exactly. Right. And I've been in some rides like that one, and I'm like, and I will ask the person who's leading the ride, what is the plan? And they say, we're going to go at X space. I'm like, okay, cool. That's the plan. I go to the front, I do X space. And the person go to the front and they do X times 2. And I'm like, this is not the plan. And if you want people to come back to your ride, as you said, you have to basically do what you say you're going to do. And people are like, okay, they can stick to the word and they didn't drop me. And you can go from there. Because I know people say, that ride, I'm never going back on that ride. I'm like, because you didn't stick to your plan, man. That's the reason why.
Well, right. And it's a sport, like you said, it's a sport it's an expensive sport. You need people around who want to fund things, right? Who want to, help out for a race. So they're not going to race it but hey, I enjoy the gang. I enjoy hanging out. I enjoy the Wednesday night or whatever night ride that goes easier, that I can hang and talk. Like, I want to keep this community vibrant, but I can't do it from the front of the group. But hey, I can write a check, right? I can help sponsor your race. You need that around, because if anybody's ever tried to go out and find sponsors, it's like, hey, what do I get out of this as a sponsor? Well, we'll put like a little piece, your
Something
logo
like
on
a
the
logo.
back of it. Like,
Or you can say, look, you have my jerk chicken. If I can't remember, hey guys, I can't ride no more. I'll probably have a house by then. After the bike ride, come over to my backyard. I'll make you get some jerk chicken. We hang out together, right? I mean, we've done some stuff at your place, and that's pretty awesome. You have a nice little spot for yourself. So
jerk chicken and rum, right?
anytime. I've
If he offers rum, by the way, if he offers rum, point here. Don't take the offer.
I've actually now introduced a few of my friends to jerk chicken.
Yeah.
And now I get invited to a little smaller group now, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make jerk chicken." I'm like, okay, we're gonna show up. So because I made it one time, they liked it. I mean, the second time, they're like, "Oh my god, whenever you have something, come on!" And again, if there's maybe it's too late now, but if you guys have something,
we're gonna do. I need to get someone to rally to be our social coordinator now that Trev has left. Even though I think after the picnic last year, he has officially abandoned his post.
But that was nice summer, because we don't have many more warm. The days are getting numbered now. So if we're gonna do anything soon, I know there's the brew ride is coming up. So tell people, there's a brew ride coming up. So yeah,
I think this is their seventh one. Minimum sixth, maybe seventh. So every fall, October, we do a brewery ride. Usually it's 3 breweries. Usually it's about 50 to 60 miles of riding. We'll pick something 25-ish miles away that opens at 11, and then stop there, have a beer, and then work our way back. We tend to follow the Lipinski rule. Thanks, Dave. Which is 1 beer at the first, 2 at the second, 3 at the third. The third one's usually by your house. Though I might even have to moderate that more after last year. The good part, the first year we did, it was 16 at the first, 2 10s at the second, and a bunch of tasters at the third. So it made sense then. So this year, October 19th, if anybody's interested, we're going to go at 9:30 in the morning. We leave from Walgreens on Clark, which is roughly Clark and Catalpa. And then I think we're heading southwest. So I think Noon Whistle may be our first stop.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to figure out what the next 2 in. I think I'm going to try and hit one in Oak Park, and we might end at Burning Bush. And then second weekend in November, we've now started taco ride.
Yeah, I've never been to that one because it's too cold.
I know, that's the challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge because we don't want to overlap with cyclocross too much, but so it looks like we're going to do the second weekend. And now for the taco ride, this will be our third one. We're still trying to iron it out. We'll probably do 2 stops. One is 20, 25 miles away. I think we might go around Des Plaines area, and then we're going to come back, and there's a good taqueria on Foster, Mix, which is across from the fire station off Foster and Western. That'll probably be our final stop.
Okay, so this is some of the coolest thing you can do, right? So if you don't want to ride fast, you can always come to the beer ride or taco ride, because again, it's the chillest 16, 18 miles an hour moving. Everybody's chatting and it's having a good time. You just stop, you have a couple of beers, and you just chat with people. I mean, it's the coolest thing. If you experience it, it's one of the best. Even my wife came with it last time, and she had a blast.
Yeah, it's good. And like all the rides, like we'll try and split it up. Like if 30 people show up, like all right, let's roll in 3 groups. Send out 10,
and then we intersect the same,
right?
Yeah, and then we leave out different. I like that too, because then it keeps things more control, because you don't want to get too many people to ride at the same time. It gets a little bit crazy. So
especially after having a beer.
Yes.
So
I like it. Yeah. So I think I want to know this for myself, and maybe other people know. So in Chicago, like, what's one of your most favorite place to ride streets? It's like a course that you're just like, man, this is my favorite place to be or ride on. I mean, I know one of my favorite that you guys for sure. When you go look at the fall colors, I love that ride.
Which one?
When we head down southwest, we go look at the fall, the leaves changing colors in that little it's like a bluff of some sort, and we kind of go up a hill, and right in terms of the hill, there's a coffee shop, and I think we go over a bridge of some sort, and then we go along the bluff, and it's like this really nice fall colors, and the trees are changing colors.
Is it the Hinsdale one?
Maybe it's the Hinsdale.
Might be the Hinsdale one.
That's one of my favorites.
Because that's it. rarely do I stop mid-ride. People know this. Like in the summer, we'll stop for bottle fills, but rarely is there a sit down. And the only one we do is Hinsdale because there's a bakery right there that we'll stop at. In the fall, that one's pretty nice. And there is a couple of hill sections. That's a nice route. We go through the UPS Center now. So there's a little more climbing there. We have the route that goes, this one's pretty neat too. We have the one that goes up to Libertyville.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a street off of Port Wine that it's pretty much a one lane for about 1.5 miles that just winds through these woods and you think you're somewhere in Wisconsin and it pops you out on Deerfield Road. Like all of a sudden the myth is over. Like, that route we do pretty, and I love when I take people on there the first time because they're like, where did this come from? Well, it's like burning orange or orange burnt. You know which road I'm talking about.
Is it the one when you have Patrick and
yeah, we came back.
Yeah.
That's a sweet road. But the challenge of riding Chicago is you do a 50-mile ride, it's 51 mile. Like you do 51-mile rides because you rarely have a stretch. Where you're gonna go. So it's like a mile stop, mile stop, mile stop. Like you catch a light, everybody's excited because now you can go 2 miles without stop. And it is what it is. And we make the best of it. And Sheridan Road going up north is a little bit easier for that. But yeah,
and you guys even do like a border road ride every now and then.
We'll do
like a hunt club or something.
Yeah, we do one usually once a year, and that's usually around the crit series at Lake Bluff because we want to come back to Lake Bluff, stop, watch a couple crits, and then some of the guys finish up. I tend to sit and have beer and get a ride home. But yeah, that's once a year. We didn't do it this year.
Because of the rain.
Weather.
But it was no rain because it was humidity tricking the weather app. Because I went and there was no rain. I finally went out. Nothing.
Right, because you're like watching like thunderstorms coming. Like
it was just humidity. I went out and I had a little rain, maybe a little bit going up to like Baha'i, and after that, dry. And the weather app was saying it was raining. I'm like, there is actually no rain here.
Yeah. So we didn't do that. So I ended up watching Fulton, but I didn't get to Lake Bluff this year.
Yeah, Fulton was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Fulton's always neat. I mean, you just see lots of people you haven't seen in a while. It's neat to watch other people go around in circles and you don't have to. I just feel your pain. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Especially when the pain is actually people sliding across the street.
Yeah, it's no bueno. I'm too old for that. Yeah, so you talk about you did your challenge with you and later you're riding a trainer. Are you a fan of riding the trainer? Indoor trainer, Zwift? Are you a fan of that?
I don't mind it. Like fan and don't mind. Like there are some rides I do in the winter that I really enjoy. Like there's a 100K every Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning. That
is that the BMTR or the
Ride for Life or something, Way of Life. It's a 2.2 for those listening watts per kilogram, which is what I can kind of hang with. It's longish. It's about 3 hours, but there's 3 or 4 other guys on the team who'll do it out of 300 people. But the cool part is I don't know if you've seen it, like if you're there with a friend, their avatar is highlighted. Yeah, so you're like watching it, and then we're having side conversations about the ride. So that's kind of neat.
What's the longest you've ever spent in Zwift?
Time wise?
Yeah.
I want to say between 3 and 3.5, maybe 3:15.
I've done 6:18.
I know you. So my list of ailments, I've got a little bursitis in my left ass, basically. And it's been acting up a little more over the last couple of years. So like we're on the saddle the whole time. So even standing up doesn't give enough relief. So after about an hour and 15 hour 20 these days, I'm like,
I mean, we were talking about this, and I mean, I've said it with no shame, and I'll ask you the question, I'll tell you what my answer is. Do you ever think about getting an e-bike?
Oh, yeah, it's interesting. So I've contended that my next bike will be an assist bike. I
mean, I have no shame. The day I get old and I can't keep up, I'm going to get an e-bike. And because Trek makes some really amazing bikes now.
Right.
And again, for the mental aspect of things and to be with my friends and just keep up, I have no objection taking an e-bike and go out there and hang with people's.
So I think the thing with e-bike, and I kind of agree. Like if I get something that's going to give me a 25, 50 watt assist, and I'm still doing the work, yeah, right. And I think the decision you have to make is, how does this affect my handling, right? So can I still handle at that speed? And if I can still handle at that speed, then
It shouldn't be a problem.
right. Because I one of the guys on our team, Pierre, his dad got an electric assist, and came out and a group went past him, and he's like, "Oh, I got this assist now." And he goes zipping with him, and it was a little wet out. He turned, and he woke up in the hospital. And he was going too fast. He didn't quite know how to handle speed, and took a turn. He was gone and smacked himself pretty bad. So I think that's the thing. It's like, if you know how to ride, like if it's like, yeah, I'm fading a little bit, I want to stay with these rides. Yeah, it's like I would joke with people. I'm like, look, I'll do the lead out. I won't do the sprint, right? Because like, yeah, let me give him full power. I'm going to win the sprint. But it's more like, hey, what can I do to hang? So yeah, I've thought about it. And prices are coming down, weight's coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like,
yeah. And the other thing I didn't saw, but if you guys watch this by then, please don't order anything from Giant, or order it now, because you see Giant stuff, they get held up in customs and all sorts of the crazy stuff that's happening. So unfortunate, but
Baber's wife Renata has the electric assist.
No, I know. You did mention they ride together sometimes.
Yeah, and that's like, she's still pedaling, she's still doing the full ride.
If I have to do it to hang up my wife or vice versa, why not?
Yeah, when she starts dropping you, you're going to need.
Well, she's
Nicole, that's for you.
She's coming along now. I mean, I'm happy that finally our kids are old enough now we can actually ride together. And days when she's off, if she's off, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to work. Let's go ride our bike and do our thing, because then that we're just stuck with kids all the time, and spending time with each other it's important. So
it's a neat way to do it too.
Yeah. So you say you have a brother. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3.
What rank are you?
I have an older sister. Hey, Patty. I have a younger brother, and it's about 3 years younger. My sister's about a year older, and then I have a younger sister who's about 6 years younger. They're all on the East Coast. All right, so my brother's in Manhattan, and my 2 sisters are outside the Philly area.
So they just stay there. They stay in Philly.
Yeah. My parents are still there. My parents are in Philly. Matter of fact, so I have the podcast too.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yeah.
tell us about your.
So we have Simone Husassian, who's been on one of the sessions with you. Her and I have a podcast, Third Coast Cycling, and what we try and do is just find kind of universal stories, but have a cycling connection. Right. And the episode we just released is about cancer recovery.
Yeah, I saw that. I listed it.
Yeah. So one of the guys we ride with has recovered from cancer, but we had a special guest appearance from my mom, who joined in because she's a breast cancer survivor. And funny, because I said, Mom, it's a cycling show. She said, yes, your father and I went on cycling trips, and she would tell her stories about her cycling trips. So it was kind of cute having her on. So yes, they're all back east. I head back probably 4 or 5 times a year.
No, that's nice to keep up with family. That's pretty awesome. So I got a chance to do my my postdoc at UPenn, and I was highly recruited and sorted out by the lab. But my PI mentor says, don't go to that lab, because what I'll be doing will be the same thing I was doing in grad school technique, because the guy want me because I have this technique, and the guy really want me for my technique. And he's like, no, don't do it. So I went to Penn, I interviewed and everything, and I love the I guess the food trucks. That's pretty cool. That was it. And the best steak I've ever had in my entire life is in Philly. And the steak where the rest, I forgot the name of it, but this is the restaurant that they film Rocky in. He was working on.
Oh, in South Philly.
When you walk in the restaurant, there's a bunch of walls, pictures of all different people that have been there before. I went to that restaurant. Best steak in my entire life. It melted in my mouth.
So it wasn't a cheesesteak, though.
No, it wasn't cheese. It was like a nice sized steak, and you were warned when you go to these interviews. You don't order the cheapest food or the most expensive.
Right.
You kind of go in the middle, because but that steak was. Oh my God.
I'll have to have remember. So I want to say one thing about Philly. So Philly used to host the U.S. Pro Bike Championship, right? And it went along the river and then went up what they call the Manayunk Wall. Manayunk's a neighborhood in Philly. It's a working class neighborhood. but they have this roughly half-mile climb, which peaks at 17%. Right? And the laps are roughly 14 miles, and they would do 10, 11 of these laps. It was a 156-mile race, right? And it would end up with a couple loops. And because it was the
one day race?
One day race. But because it was the pro championship, and there wasn't a lot of U.S. pros at the time, any pro team that had a U.S. cyclist on it could come in, right? So it would be a full-on pro race, but there'd be a race within the race, right? So you'd have first place, and if it wasn't a U.S. guy, the U.S. champion would be the first U.S. guy. So the U.S. champion might have finished fourth in the race, but it was huge in Philly. It was usually the Father's Day in Manayunk. It would be 4 deep, 5 deep on the wall, people cheering.
It still goes on today?
Well, so I'm gonna cycle back to that in a second. But like you go up the wall and people would be like drinking beers and cheering, and then the ride would go by and everybody would run inside, watch on TV, drink more beers, there'd be bands on porches, and then it would come back, everybody run back out, they're cheering. So that went on, and then the U.S. Cycling decided to take the championship out of it, and they moved the championship to like Chattanooga or somewhere. So the race survived for about 2 more years, but it didn't get the fields, right? And the lead sponsor was a bank. It was bought by another bank, so that fell apart. So the race disappeared, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. So one of the guys I used to race with out there, Carlos Rogers, whose brother owns Bicycle Therapy that I mentioned earlier, Lee Rogers. Carlos decided he wanted to bring it back. And Carlos raced it 1 year. Like they would have like a composite Philly team. And Carlos raced it 1 year. So he's been working hard to get this race back. And just last Tuesday, I think it was, they announced the race is back.
Wow, nice.
So we got a title sponsor.
Nice.
So I don't know if you saw, like, there's a Maryland Classic now that just happened last week, which is all the pros coming from Europe. This is going to be a couple of days before that. So you're going to have Philly, and then you're going to have Maryland, so that the pro teams can get 2 races, and they're both on the pro calendar. And it's going to go up the wall. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked that we can start bringing some tours to Illinois, because we have some awesome roads here, man. Go to Galena, Elizabeth, Stockton, in the Gifless region, man. Some amazing road out there.
I think it's just a matter of someone having the will. So Carlos, I give him a ton of credit. I don't know how to do it, but on his team he put together was the ex-mayor of Philadelphia, guy Michael Nutter, was one of the people who helped bring it to fruition. And so he got the right people, and they ended up getting a pretty good title sponsor that's kicking in, I think, around $2 million. But he needs $2 million more. So anybody listening, if you have $1 million or so lying around and you want to co-sponsor in Philly, reach out.
If I had $2 million, if I had money, I'll for sure. Because I want to see.
It's such a. I mean, Philly on the TV network used to carry it all day long. Like you get 6 hours of bike racing.
I want to see like road racing coming back to the US. I mean, even the the crits day, the purses. It's like you win a T-shirt now. Back then it used to be $5,000. Now it's like you win a cup or something like that. It's like what happened, and people are not motivated anymore to go race because of these.
Yeah, like why come in from Europe if you're not going to get in this race? Yeah, well, Carlos has a pretty good purse. And I remember when it used to be, it would run 40 deep payout. And I think first was 15 grand. So it was decent if you're bringing a team and you get a couple guys at 40, you're walking away with some good money. And if you link it with Maryland, and I think the following weekend there are 2 races in Canada, like Quebec and Montreal. So you can come in as pro team and spend 2 weeks here and get 4 really good days of racing, right?
Nice. And I think in Capita started the team now is going to try to get to pro level to go to Tour de France in a couple of years. So that's I want to see what US is going to go, because I think if I started biking much earlier, I think I'd be all right. But I started biking later in life.
Yeah, right.
I'm still learning.
You're learning, and you have a job.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I need to take that risk. Nope. I'm not taking a risk. Got it.
Hey, Omar, if you race Chris, you'll be really strong. I'm like, yes, but then I have a family. I got 5 kids, and I got a good career, and and I just can't risk. And the cost analysis is like, to go say I win and go Cat 1 or Cat 3 at my age, no.
that $500 could
Could go a
come
long
in
way.
handy.
Yeah,
Come in
yeah.
handy.
Versus spending 10 grand.
Medical fees.
Exactly. And I look,
And
hey,
repairing your
both
bike.
my hands are sprained.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually broken.
I still got the plate in there.
He has a scar too.
Yeah. Well, that's back in the day. They put the plates in and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, man, we have learned so much. I didn't realize that you had all this history of stuff that you've done, seen, experienced, and I guess we must have learned a lot about you from all the. I didn't even know you were in Triple X before. No idea.
Well, I wasn't on the team.
Well, the team, but you go to the rides.
Yeah.
I didn't know you ride Judson back in the days. I had no idea.
Yeah. Yes.
You're one of those guys. Like, guys, legit. Judson back then to this day, it is the ride. Okay, like people still talk about Judson. I mean, there were articles about Judson ride. It's like the Don Pan of Chicago. Don Pan is like a Miami equivalent of Judson ride back in the days, and we have all these really, really fast cutters now in Chicago that makes Judson ride. We got Mike Lanyon, who wins all the sprints. We got Sig and all these strong PJ. Oh my God, the name goes on and on. We got Big Drew, which I call him Theo Drew. This really tall, big. He's like a diesel. So, no, Chicago is a fantastic place to be. So, as we close out, anything you want to leave us with, like what keeps you going? What's your motivation? What would you tell people about cycling? I mean,
I would say that in general, it's the friendliness of cycling. I've seen a little Instagram thing of Rick Zabel, and he's riding, and he's just saying hi to everybody on the path, right? And just going by and giving people nods and saying hi,
like the woohoo lady.
Yeah, and there was one guy who didn't say hi, and then the joke was he had the guy down in his basement. He was like torturing him for not saying hi, because unfortunately, you see that, like you see folks who just are ignoring other riders, and you want to. What I love about the scene right now in Chicago is the connections people make, right, and the ability across teams, across levels to reach out, say hi to people, build connections. So that's one of the things that I would encourage everybody to try and do, right, just to continue to meet people. Like the Monday night ride, right, becomes a huge ride. Torrin does some great stuff with their rides.
I thought I knew many people in Chicago. I went on a touring ride and I was like, I don't know a lot of people in Chicago. And I thought that, but I don't know a lot of people in Chicago on touring rides. Almost everybody were new faces. Yeah. The Monday night ride, bunch of new faces. Didn't know, and I still bunch of group down south that I still have. I've never gone to any Mary Taylor rides. It's a bunch of African American people. Yeah, don't know them, but at least I know some guy from Misfits, and there's a Chicago United. There's Wheelman, all these different groups. I'm like, a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think that the stepping out of your comfort zone once in a while. Like you're able to ride, and you're like 4 of your buddies, and you want to catch up with them.
Yeah,
but it's like, let me just at least one other person.
I want to go to critical mass, but I need a critical mass bike.
Yeah, I have one of those. I got one.
Because I don't.
You need a bar. I got a critical mass bike.
Perfect. Because none of my bikes, I would take the critical mass.
Yeah,
it's not a critical mass kind of bike. I think I told you before, like in Miami, they used to have critical mass in Miami too. So one day, actually ran the course in Miami. While people were biking, I ran and I didn't finish last. Oh, I was gonna go so slow. I mean, not slow, but I was able to finish and went back downtown, and it was pretty critical. Like, actually finished with these guys. It was like about 18, 20 miles. Yeah. And I finished with them.
Did you ever do the late ride here?
No.
I don't know if they still have it. There used to be a late ride. Still going. That was one night in the summer. It would start roughly midnight and would end at 5 a.m. with pancakes downtown. And I want, awesome. Like, there's 10,000 plus people.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it started midnight. And we were going 10 miles an hour. Like, it was just, in some ways, painfully so. But you were just like rolling with this mass, like all the way through. And I remember we got to Rush Street around, 4 in the morning or something. And people were coming out of bars. And you guys yelling, "It's the naked ride!" Like, dude, we all have clothes on.
Exactly. But there's a naked ride in Chicago that happened a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Not quite 10,000 people.
But there was a naked ride, like a naked ride, like everything out. Okay.
That was big when I was in Seattle.
Yeah. So you talk about midnight ride and stuff. I had a tradition when I was a runner from 31 to 38 on my birthday at midnight, like after midnight.
Yeah.
I get up and I run my age in miles. So from 31 The
This
30.
is how you would be finishing up at breakfast.
Do you see that one that says 35 miles birthday run? Well, Nicole made it for me.
All right.
Down the top. That was I came home and she's like, "This is." I'm like, awesome. I'm a 36. That was a fun thing I used to do when I was a runner.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of running, but I'm just enjoying biking now.
Yeah.
And I'm meeting new people and going further and farther. I just did the triple X 3-border run.
Did you
150 miles? That was awesome. That was really fun.
I was going down the lakefront. I saw Matt Talbot. He must have been coming back, right? Because it was 4.
I didn't see you.
He may have been there. Like he was with a small group at that point. I probably not many left. It was probably 4-ish because I was going to Viva's house. And it took me a second to, say, oh, it's Matt. Like, I think he had that faraway look in his eye.
No, they kept on dropping them, going. But so a friend of mine came into town and called me and said, "Oh, I'm here," and I'm like, "Oh crap!" So I probably just peeled off and rolled up by myself because of my friend that came in. Jan just came into town, and so yeah. But it was a fun ride. It was nice. Can
we do fun in air quotes on that? 147 miles fun
because, well, maybe because I've been putting in the work. So it wasn't a struggle for me, and it was good. I was able to manage it. I've learned a lot about like nutrition and everything. So I had all the stuff. I had my goos, I got my Fig Newtons, I had my carbs. So I managed it very well, and I think I did pretty good. Right. I finished it. I'm like, I didn't feel like I was gonna die,
Well, you've talked me in next year. I'm out.
No, it's good. I just hope that maybe next time they go south first. Because early morning when it is on the bike path.
On the bike path, yeah.
And then because going back that way gets like sketchy, man.
Yeah.
We saw a guy driving a car on the bike path, like in Navy Pier. I'm like, why are you here in a car? Like come on. And then I heard he got stuck. People was complaining like, what happened? Like, yeah, because you can't go on the here. That's why he got stuck. Anyway. Chicago.
Yeah, not sorry I missed that part.
Yeah, this is why Chicago is what it is, right? There's a website in Miami called Only in Dade where you see some crazy stuff. Only in Chicago. We got our own little things that goes on. But no, we have some fantastic people in network. And Tim is one of them, aka FatherTim. And as we've covered all these different stories and how he has, evolved the role he plays here, or he support biking. And even when he's not going to be biking, he's already telling you he's going to be writing check. Maybe $2 million, maybe. I don't know. But he said it.
Yeah.
But he's going to be doing something to keep the cycling scene going and what it is. And I really highly recommend, guys, if you want a nice family-oriented ride, we can keep up with your near-old, the Wednesday ride, the Sunday ride, highly recommend it. In Andersonville by the Walgreens. Hard to miss. And again, you can find the name of you can find the ride in ChicagoGroupRides.com. That's run by Half Acre. You can find it. It's listed there. Highly, highly recommend it. You get hooked on this ride. And they go really up nice, up to, the University Hill climb, and we all regroup, and it's cool. And then the nice space in the lagoons, and then people are like, okay, this is what it takes to pull, this is what rotation mean, and you learn. Because a lot of these things, I'm telling you, sir, I didn't know these things.
Yeah.
Okay, so these little small little nuggets, it adds to my knowledge of cycling over time. And I'm grateful for you, and a lot of people are, and man, getting yelled at a couple times, but it's fine. It's a learning experience because you and this is you learn. You're gonna learn. Yeah. Okay. And then not only that, I build bikes and I have stuff, and I go to Tim's house. I'm like, oh, I like that. Can I have your seat? Like, okay, you want it? Okay, let's get back to buy my beer. I'm like, okay, so my bike seats. I got
my beer.
Yeah, I got bike seats. I got from him. You got some stuff he's not using. You can always get it either for free or a couple few dollars. And again, this is what makes Chicago. He's already offered to let you use his bike if you're in town here at 58. He's offering. That's the beauty about Chicago, guys. And it's a magical place to be. We have Tim, myself, many others that's going to come. You've seen them on the show. And we're the people who make Chicago, as I said before, a majestical place to be. Okay, so guys, learn a lot. And we're going to keep on pushing and make Chicago welcoming and just keep the vibe rolling. All right, so until we meet again, Tim, thanks for having you. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. Appreciate you having me on.
Nice. And remember, Tim has his own podcast called
Third Coast Cycling.
Third Coast Cycling. You can get on Spotify. I've listened to a couple of them, so check it out. Really amazing stories there. So guys, until we meet again, keep the miles and smiles going. One love.